Hi folks, welcome back to our tutorial. And for today's video, we're gonna talk about Composer Pro XL MDX2600. This is a compressor limiter produced by Behringer. Some of you guys might ask, what is the purpose of this processor? And is it important to have one? The answer is yes, you should have at least one of this processor. Now, let's just talk about this particular processor. This is a stereotype processor, basically for your left channel and right channel. For the sake of this video, let me just share you my setup. Right now, I have a Shure SM58 dynamic microphone fed to my mixer, which is a CFX12 Mackie, and the output of my Mackie is fed to this processor, and the output of this processor is fed to my video recorder. For the sake of this video, let's just focus on this channel, which is the left channel. Now, this particular processor comes with 4 segments: the expander and gate, the compressor or limiter, the de-esser, and lastly, the peak limiter. Now, let's just start with the gate. What is the gate? Imagine that there is a mansion or palace with a gate, and there is a wind that's pointing through that gate. Imagine that this is the wind. So that is the strength of the wind. Now, I don't like that wind to pass through that gate. So what we do is to engage this gate, which is this guy right here, and set an appropriate level, a certain level wherein you will block that hiss or wind. So let's just try. So as you see, as we strengthen the gate, it blocks that wind. So basically, this is used to block the noise, particularly the noise. Now, let's just turn this level to block the noise, but then I want my voice to come out of this processor. Check mic, check mic, check mic, check mic, check, 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 check. So you see, as I speak, my voice comes out of this processor. But if I stop speaking, it blocks the noise. So this is a very good level to set in. Now, let's talk about the compressor limiter. For the sake of understanding this compressor and limiter, we will focus on this meter. Again, this is the output, and this is the reduction or the blocking. And for the sake of understanding this compressor limiter, let's just disengage the gate or disable the gate. Now, the compressor limiter comes with different knobs. First, we have the threshold. Second, we have the ratio. Third, the attack. Fourth, release. And last, the output. Now, the compressor limiter plays a very important role, especially on the PA. Not just the PA, but on overall channels. Now, the purpose of this compressor limiter is to compress or limit, from the word itself, the level of the signal. I disengage this gate. Let's just poke on this meter and see how it affects the sound. Now, for the sake of understanding, by default, I set the ratio at 4:1. Now, the way it works is that we have to set a certain level in which we want the compressor to get activated by setting this threshold knob here. Check, 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 check. You see, as I move this, there's still no effect. Check, 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 check. As I move this on the 12 o'clock, you can see that my voice is still coming out from the processor, but then there is a reduction right here. And the reduction varies depending on how you set this value. For example, right now, the threshold is activated. It means the compressor is working and the ratio is 4:1. It means for every 4 decibels output, it will only give you 1 decibel output, which means 3 decibels is being cut from this signal. So if I turn this ratio to 1:1, which is right here, 1:1, it means there is no reduction. So for every 1 output, the output is 1. If I set this to 2, for every 2 decibels output, it will only give you 1 decibel output. If I set this to 4, for every 4 decibels output, the output is only 1 decibel, and so on. Now, again, this threshold should be set on which level you want that compressor to get activated. If I set this to maximum, it means you don't want it to be activated. If I set this way down, it means even the signal is very low, it will get activated. And the compression ratio is 4:1. And you have to set it. Now, setting this compressor is very important. Like, for example, you set it this way, it means your PA is very important. Like, there is a reduction right here, and my output is coming out through the speakers. And even if I shout, you see that it's reducing the signal, which means it's very safe for the speakers. It's very safe for the speakers. Now, take note that when you do this kind of dynamics, you are changing the quality of the voice. So be careful when setting these two guys right here. Next in line, we have the attack and release. The attack is how fast this compressor will get activated. Will it work immediately when you reach this threshold? You have to set it right here. The release, how long will it get activated after reaching this threshold? Okay, and then there is a automatic button right here. You can just press this guy right here. And last but not least, we have the output. Like for example, we set these two guys right here, and the attack and release. Since we reduced the signal, we can also add up right here. Right now, it is set to 0, which means there is no reduction or addition on the signal. We can just add it up. Check, 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 test, test. Check, 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 test. See? And there is a activate button right here. You want to engage, press this one. This one should lit. Or if you don't want to use the compressor limiter, just turn this up. And the IO meter right here is for the compressor. Next, we have the de-esser. The de-esser is like it will reduce the S from that microphone. Like for example, it reduces it that way. It should be activated by pressing this guy right here. Check. See? The last but not the least is the peak limiter. The peak limiter works just like this compressor limiter. But then, this is a hard limiter, which means when you set it like this, for example, at positive 12 dB, it means when it reaches this level, it will not go further this level, just like a compressor with infinite ratio. And that's it. I hope you learned from this video, and please like this video. Thanks guys.